Blah. My fingers got squished. Michelangelo crisp top review. Today we're going to review this machine that actually helps you kind of air fry, kind of crisp your food. I'm Urvashi and I'm going to walk you through an unbiased review. Michelangelo sent me this, but if I don't like a piece of equipment, I don't review it, or if I think it has pros and cons, I present both the pros and cons so you can choose. So let me talk about kind of what this is if you've never seen one of these. This is essentially a freestanding lid that comes off, and it has in it a fan and a heating element up top. Okay? Blah. My fingers got squished. So when you turn it on, the heating element comes on and the fan starts to rotate air. So it tries to approximate what you would get in an air fryer. And I'll talk about why I'm saying approximate. Okay? These are meant to fit on top of either a 6-quart or an 8-quart pressure cooker. Let's talk about the 5 or 6 things we need to consider when purchasing a machine like this. Okay, so the first is functions. Second is how much capacity does it have? Third is how easy is it to use? The fourth one is the price of ownership. And the fifth point is, given all of this, who is this machine best for? So let's talk about the footprint. So the first thing you need to understand about the footprint is this thing cannot be used on its own. It needs to sit on top of something. And let me tell you something. When this comes on with heat, your inner pot mine needed a good scrub. It's clean, y'all. I didn't use enough elbow grease on it. Anyway, your inner pot is going to get very, very, very hot. So you definitely want a casing that is going to surround that pot so that you are not sitting there working around a really hot container. So what this comes with is, it does not come with the bottom. It comes with this. You get a really nice set of silicone tipped tongs. I love these. You get a fairly deep basket that will hold a few things. And then you get a trivet that can be used either this way to give it a lot of height, or this way if you're, for example, making a large chicken in there. And the most invaluable thing that it comes with is a silicone trivet that you can put this hot thing on, because you definitely do not want to put it on your countertops. Okay, so footprint wise, let me put it next to the Instant Pot. This is a 6-quart Instant Pot. It's about half the height of a 6-quart Instant Pot. It's about 10 inches wide, this lid on top, okay? The other thing to note about this machine is that it is about 1,000 watts. A freestanding air fryer, a good freestanding air fryer, has at least 1,300 watts in it. So the way you use this is going to be a little bit different than simply using a freestanding air fryer. Okay, so that's the footprint. Let's talk about capacity. Capacity is going to be influenced by 2 things. One is going to be influenced by how much space there is in this whole pot, okay? So in air frying, I've said this in every one of my other videos, in air frying, what really matters is the surface area. Not the depth, the surface area, because you want everything to be in a single layer. Hello, Gracie. My dog is here. Hi. Hi, puppy. So you want everything to be in a single layer, and so whatever you can spread across in this is going to be the capacity. The one exception is if you are willing to put something in the pot. So let's say that you cook a whole chicken or 2 Cornish game hens, and you have pressure cooked them, and you want to just kind of crisp up the tops. Or you make a big meatloaf and you want to just crisp up the top. In a situation like that, you don't need all of it to be brown. You're just trying to brown the tops. So in that situation, the surface area is going to be enough. If you have pressure cooked a large chicken and now you're going to put this top on it and move it around, your chicken may or may not fall apart. The top will get browned, but to brown the other sides, it's going to be a little bit cumbersome. So try to understand from your own eating habits how you're going to be using it. If you're going to be pressure cooking and then browning the top, perfect. If you're cooking for a large family, you may have to wonder whether this is going to work or not. So let me show you how much will fit. So the way you would use it is you would put the trivet in here. What the trivet does is it raises it so that the cooking surface, the heating surface, is closer to the cooking surface, okay? So here's the basket that it comes with, and I'm gonna put some frozen coconut shrimp in here, and I'm gonna lay them out here so you can see. Now, as these cook, they're going to shrink a little bit, but notice I'm not piling them higgledy-piggledy on top of each other. That's not a good idea with air frying. One of the things that you're going to have to contend with in one of these machines versus a freestanding air fryer is that the freestanding air fryers have a lot more powerful fan. And so the hot air circulates and allows it to crisp underneath a lot faster. This is just, inherent in the design. It's nothing to do with this machine. Any crisp top machine is going to have the same limitations that I'm talking about right now. But just understand what you're getting into. In fact, if you're trying to figure out the best air fryer for you, I have a video that I'll link to in the bottom in the description that will tell you how to choose the best one. Okay, I've kind of smashed too many in here, so let me just take out a couple to do a fair test. So then what you do is you put this over here and you put the lid on top. One of the safety features of this lid is that if I try to turn it on now, nothing is going to happen. Let me get rid of these crumbs. So this prevents it from coming on as if you're just standing around, okay? What has to happen is, not only does this thing, let me turn this around so you can see it from the front. Not only does this have to be down, it has to be pushed down. You hear that? That snap, and then the lights come on, okay? Now at this point, I can do one of two things. I can either use one of these presets or I can set the time and the temperature myself. Okay, so in order to set the time and the temperature, you press this and then you can go up to 400 and go down to whatever. And then on the time, you simply press how many ever minutes you want. So for the shrimp, for example, I will want 400. Oh, it goes to, let's see what it goes to. It goes to 420. Which is really nice. Many of the other machines will only go to about 390 or 400 or 380. So 420 is nice. So by the way, if you're trying to convert an oven recipe into an air fryer recipe, here's a heuristic you could try, which is use 25 to 50 degrees less and use 25% less time. So if it calls for 10 minutes, you're going to take 2.5 minutes off of that. Okay, so 25 to 50 degrees lower temperature because it's a smaller confined space, and 25% less cooking time is a good place to start. Okay, what you really need, however, is you need reputable cookbooks. And I just happen to have written 2 best-selling air fryer cookbooks. They're on Amazon, Target, Walmart, etc. So check those out. Look for my name. There's only one Urvashi Patre on Google. It's really easy to find. If you don't have a recipe and you're guessing, this is a really good place to start. One of the things, because this lid is so small, there's not a lot of room to put in 16 different buttons. You look at these buttons and you think they're clickable, but actually that's not how you access them. The way you cycle through this is you press this menu button. We're at chips, steak, chicken leg, shrimp, pizza, egg tart, something, and fish. Okay, so this is how you would essentially go through those. Not the same as a freestanding air fryer, but then again, look, there's not that much space. Now, some of the machines will also dehydrate. Some machines like this will dehydrate. I have mixed feelings about that. I feel like, look at this, okay? Let's say that I had put in, see, safety measure, put it on here even though you don't think you've used it. Let's say I had put in apple chips. That would be like an apple and a half. And you'll be running it all night long. It won't be able to hold much more than that. And after running it for 8 hours, you'll have 1 dehydrated apple. I'm not sure that that's worth it. So dehydrated may be a nice to have. If you're doing spices, it might be a great to have because you can pile in quite a few spices. But if you're actually trying to dehydrate fruits and vegetables, these machines are not the best way to do that, in my opinion. Okay, so that's kind of the functionality. So we've talked about the footprint. We've talked about how much capacity it has. I've talked to you about ease of use. One thing, I'm 5'5", and shrinking every day. Apparently this happens as you get older. Who knew? Your mom forgot to tell you about this. I can see this, but barely. Like ideally, I would be this tall and I'll be able to see this properly. So either you need a step stool or you need someone, really not 5 feet tall to do this, because this is quite a bit in height. Okay, so just be aware of that. If you're a shorty, you may need a step stool. So ease of use, I think, is pretty easy to use. It's quite intuitive. You set the time and temperature, and then you press start. And if you want to use one of these presets, you go through the menu and you choose your presets. So let's try that. So I have shrimp in there. You have to press start. See how it's not coming on? It's because I didn't snap this in place. So it's idiot proof, me being the idiot in this case. So it's come on, and I'm just gonna see, my fingers keep going to want to press the shrimp, but that's not how I access it. So let me go here, and shrimp is at 400, and just for grins and giggles, it's at 6 minutes. I know I'm gonna need 8 minutes, but I'm gonna give this 4, and I'm going to press start. Now I want you to listen to see how loud it is, okay? That's actually a lot softer than many of the freestanding air fryers. So you could actually run this with a baby in the next room. Some of the bigger ones, they're quite noisy. The beeping might wake up someone. They've explained how to turn the beeping off. Honestly, you just basically hold a button down. I haven't been patient enough to figure it out, but apparently there is a way to turn the sound off. Oh, I know how. This pause button, I think you hold it down and then you get a sound off thing. Okay, while this is cooking, let me tell you about cleaning. Two things I have realized from my experience of using air fryers for 3 years, which is if it isn't plugged in, you're not going to use it. If it's not sitting out somewhere handy, you're not going to use it. And if it's difficult to clean, you're not going to use it. One of the really nice things about this one is that it's really easy to clean. So basically you would use a wet cloth to wipe around here. And then on the other side, the stainless steel over time is going to stain a little bit. Okay, it's not quite so stainless steel, I guess, but the heat does cause the steel to change color. It doesn't necessarily mean it's dirty, it just means it takes a bit. The best way to clean that is vinegar and water. So take a sponge, take a cloth, dip it in a solution of vinegar and water, and wipe it down, and you should be good to go. One thing that makes it really easy to clean is that the pot itself that you're cooking in is stainless steel, okay? Because of that, you can just take the pot out and the little basket out and put them in the dishwasher, and you're good to go. So cleaning is a snap. Let's talk about price of ownership. Prices on these things vary, so I'm not going to give you the exact price here. It's around $100, you know, or thereabouts somewhere, depending on the sale you get. But the one thing you have to note is this is meant to go on top of a pressure cooker. So you gotta have a pressure cooker, otherwise you're buying the pressure cooker, and at that point you may as well just buy a freestanding air fryer. If you have a pressure cooker and you cook in it often enough, you're comfortable in it, it's sitting out on the counter all the time, this would be a great machine for you to have. So it's cooking, and I'll tell you right now, from having done another review of a similar thing, I reviewed the Mealthy Crisp Lid as well. What's gonna happen because of the 1,000 watts is you're gonna have to stop and you're gonna have to turn over your food. There's not a powerful enough fan in here that is gonna brown the food on all sides, okay? So just accept that. Just accept that that's how your food is gonna cook. Okay, we've given it 4 minutes, and these were frozen shrimp. One of the things I noticed is that the browning is a little bit inconsistent, but it's because the shrimp aren't yet cooked. But look at the difference in browning here versus the underside. Okay, this tells you right off there is no way to use these machines without flipping the food over. So I'm going to flip the food over now. And notice I put this on the heat proof thing. Also notice the food shrinks a little bit as you do it. And then okay, and then so this, I don't like this. So look what happened here. It reverted back to the temperature that was by default. It didn't revert back to the last temperature that I cooked to. Is it the end of the world? No. I can easily just move to my 406 minutes and press start. And I'm gonna let it run again, and when it's done, I'll take it out and I'll show you how I did it. One of the other things I really like about this is the ability to stare at your food as it's cooking. There's something super fascinating about it. I think it's because I can feel like I'm really busy because I'm supervising the food, but in fact I'm just kind of staring at it, zoning out. It's kind of fun to see it crisping up. This orange light thing is quite pretty. I like it. Here's one thing I want to try. I'm going to stop this and lift it. Ooh, it's almost a little too done. And then if I stop it and lift it and put it down, that's not bad. It actually remembers where it was if the cook cycle isn't finished. Okay. So initially, remember when I said I don't like it because when I pick it up it goes back to the original temperature? It does, except the good news is that does not happen in the middle of the cook cycle. You know, you might want to stop and check your food. You might want to turn it. You want it to be able to remember where it was within the 6 minutes and pick up. Okay, here's another thing to be aware of. So my food is finished cooking, but I actually can't get it out yet, or I shouldn't, because the fan is still rotating. Ideally, you would wait until the fan was done rotating. I'm sure if I picked it up, nothing bad would happen, but you have to wait a minute. So there's some residual heat still cooking the food. You may have to adjust a little bit to make sure that you don't overcook your food, okay? Now for a lot of things it's not gonna matter, but for steak and shrimp, things that you're cooking very, very quickly, you might just have a small learning curve, not a showstopper. Okay, so take this off, put it out of the way, and there are your gorgeous shrimp. It's done a really good job. Yes, it is a little bit uneven, there's no doubt about it. It's because I was not able to put all of these flat. Okay, am I gonna be sitting there going, oh, I can't eat this shrimp, it's unevenly cooked? Let me tell you something, if someone's giving you that much grief about the food they cook, you just eat their food too. They don't deserve it. That's my opinion. So here we go. There are those shrimp. I did not arrange them very nicely. I will arrange one in my mouth. It's pretty evenly cooked. I like it. You want to try, honey? I don't want just one. Now that your shrimp are done cooking and it's cleaning time, it's gonna be fairly simple. You're just gonna hold this. It's a nice double handle thing. Get yourself one of these jobbies. I'll put a link to it. When you're pressure cooking or air frying, there's steam in there, and you definitely don't want your classic oven mitt because they're made of cloth. The hot steam and water are gonna get, the water is gonna get in there. It's gonna be really hot. So use silicone. Okay, so let me take this out, and that's how much you have to clean. Honestly, if you're making bacon or chicken wings and you like to collect the schmaltz or you like to collect the bacon grease, which you really should, it's actually quite handy to have it in here. You can collect it in the air fryer baskets, but this just seems a little bit cleaner because it's stainless steel. I don't know why. Anyway, okay, so would I buy this? Here's who I think this machine is really good for. If you already have a pressure cooker, a 6 or an 8 quart pressure cooker that you want to put this on, I think it's a really good buy. If you're single and you're cooking, or there's just 2 of you and you're making small amounts, really good buy. If you like to pressure cook food and then you like to crisp the tops like meatloaf or a chicken, or you want your food browned a little bit, pork chops that you've made in there, etc., this is a really good buy. A lot of people don't want nonstick in their air fryers. Some of you have written to me and said you have parrots and you can't have anything nonstick in the house because the fumes are poisonous for parrots, and some of you just don't like nonstick. Well, the cooking surfaces are essentially the pot and the basket, and all of that is stainless steel or aluminum. So you can actually get away from the nonstick. The other people it's good for is people who are not 4 feet 8 inches, because it is kind of tall. Here's who I don't think these machines in general work for. I don't think it works for people who are thinking they're going to make 3 or 4 pounds of food at one time. Unless you're making smaller quantities of food, these machines are going to be, their capacity is limited compared to a freestanding air fryer. So that was my review of the Michelangelo Crisp Top. Let me give you the model number, CRT01. Okay, I hope that was helpful, and please watch my other air fryer review video so that you get an idea for what it's like, and do subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. I hope that was helpful.